All my life, I've been a global traveler, seeking cultures and traditions that are just as vibrant today as in times past. We're opening doors, stepping into worlds most never see, because that's where the best stories are, behind closed doors. We're sharing stories of local life and the working world, plus spending time with some of the most interesting people you'd ever want to meet. It's truly privileged access that always leaves me excited to explore more. With their intense hues and visible brushstrokes, Impressionist paintings today are beloved around the world. But in the 1860s, when the movement began, they were ridiculed. It was a time when the Académie des Beaux-Arts was the exclusive arbiter of French painting, and the only paintings accepted were meticulously painted canvases with no visible brushstrokes, depicting historic and religious subjects or portraits. Around the same time, two young artists, Monet and Renoir, began painting real-time in the open air. Here they developed a novel style to capture the changing effects of light on the landscape. Year after year, their radical paintings were rejected by the Académie. Then, in 1874, Monet and Renoir bypassed the Académie and exhibited their work together with Pissarro, Cézanne and Degas in an independent collective. Critics denounced them, denigrating them as the Impressionists, implying that their paintings were at best mere sketches. Though meant to disparage, the term instead gained favor with the public, who began to see Impressionist art as a sign of change and progress. From that first exhibit, the Impressionists went on to show their work 8 more times over the next 12 years, gaining support from the public and even eventually the Académie. Monet's Rouen Cathedral series is considered the height of Impressionistic achievement, and his Water Lily series, painted in his Giverny garden, remains amongst the most recognizable of the genre. By the 1890s, Impressionism was a symbol of modern French life, paving the way for post-Impressionist masters Van Gogh, Matisse, and others. When you're in France, bring Impressionism to life by tracing Monet's footsteps in Rouen and strolling his beautiful Giverny gardens. Exploring Paris's Musée d'Orsay, one of the world's most important collections of Impressionist paintings. Or discover Impressionism's legacy in the Provençal city of Arles, forever immortalized by Van Gogh in his tortured, vivid, and hauntingly beautiful canvases. Claude Monet, Impressionist master and interpreter of the world around him. No visit to Monet's home was ever considered complete until you'd had a walk in one of his 2 stunning gardens. Everyone's familiar with Monet's gardens at Giverny, but did you know each flower's color and placement was chosen for its glow in the sunlight? The paintings that once seemed filled with imaginary colors, I now see are but real reflections of the vivid surroundings and an absolute feast for the senses. If there ever was a room with a view, this is it. Monet so loved his Giverny gardens, he remained there for 43 years. With a focus on colour, he personally continually changed and improved the garden layouts, even though he had 7 gardeners. In his last 30 years, Monet created many of his most memorable works. During this incredibly productive period, his paintings focused almost exclusively on his Giverny gardens, the pond, and his beloved water lilies. Monet was the most successful commercial artist of his time, and his works are more valuable than ever, with one version of the water lily selling for more than $70 million. While Monet passed away in 1926, his gardens and his spirit clearly live on. This is magic. I feel like I'm part of an Impressionist painting. And you can feel this way too, on Viking's Paris and the Heart of Normandy river cruise. It's been said the eyes are a window into the soul, but these eyes masked an astonishing imagination. Antoni Gaudí possessed such a unique view of the world that his college president commented during graduation, "We're in the presence of either a genius or a madman." Born in 1852, Gaudí's influence on the architecture and character of Barcelona is unmistakable. His style defied categorization, emulating the flowing rhythm of nature. Few at the time understood his work, including the city of Barcelona, which awarded him just one project for street lamps. Gaudí's most impassioned work was Sagrada Familia. Inside, the design resembles a stone forest, the powerful tree trunks reaching for the sky, complete with branches and leaves at the top. Gaudí orchestrated every detail here, even choosing the different types of stone for the pillars to optimize weight distribution, which is why they're different colors. But what surprised me most is that the Sagrada Familia began in 1882, still isn't finished, and it won't be until 2026. At Parkwell, Gaudí sought to infuse his work with the complex patterns he'd observed in nature. It was an unrelenting quest that also turned him into an avid recycler.
All those tiles and ceramics, before being in here, were in balconies, kitchens, bathrooms, places like that.
Gaudí's obsession with nature was anything but a passing fancy. It began, in fact, in childhood with a diagnosis of rheumatism, a condition that left him isolated.
When he was a kid, he was sick, so he would not play with the rest of the children. So he spent a long time alone just observing nature.
Gaudí's epiphany was that man creates with straight lines, while God fills nature with graceful curves and angles. At Casa Batlló, Gaudí abandoned straight lines entirely. The result was nothing short of astonishing. Especially the roofline, which it said depicts a slain dragon, complete with a sword sticking out of its back.
The everyday people didn't understand anything of him. It was too modern. He broke with the lines of all the other houses, and he began to do really things that were absolutely a scandal for most of the people. He developed his own style, and I think he marked then the architecture of the future. There is no one like him.
Gaudí's passion for architecture burned so intense he worked every day of his career. A career that left a multitude of original works for later generations to contemplate. In the end, the man who helped shape the soul of Barcelona was recognized by the world with 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Antoni Gaudí is a priceless part of Barcelona's history. I hope you'll explore more of the city's architectural treasures and traditions. Join us again here on Viking.TV as we open more doors around the world on our quest to explore the planet's most fascinating cultures
and delightful traditions.